Hey guys, how's it going? I'm setting up this room for Joy real quick, and then we're gonna have our mentoring session. I don't think we're really gonna cover too much today. It's gonna be a short session. We're mostly just going to go over some basic questions regarding market structure, identifying how price is moving and stuff like that. So it'll be a pretty simple session, but I think it'll be very helpful to a lot of you guys. If you guys have issues with identifying market structure and knowing, when to trade and when not to trade, I feel like that's an issue that a lot of people have that a lot of people don't really understand yet. So I'll be going over that with Joey shortly. I'm getting the link real quick. Let's see. Silver Joey. Making his way in shortly. All right, looks like we're good. Just got everything set up here. Send these links out real quick.
Yo,
Yo, what's up, Joey? What's up, Kyle?
what's going on?
Not too much, dude. Chilling.
How
Yes,
was the how was
yes.
the tax man?
Dude, I gotta freaking go back next week, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. It was like it's more than I thought because since I quit my job last month, I forgot I still gotta do like my personal tax and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, true.
I gotta go back and like pretty much redo everything. Well, not redo everything, but I gotta finish up what I started today. So it's gonna be a long a long process, but it should be cool. I mean, because I have a lot of stuff that I got yesterday. Like I bought my Tesla and stuff like that. So there's like a lot of more complicated things I have to go in.
What, the one you have, or you got a new one?
No, I bought the car last year because the taxes that I'm doing right now are from last year.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
You put it through the business?
yeah, it's through the
Oh,
K2,
nice,
so
nice.
it's the business car. So and then I'm thinking about getting another car this year. So I gotta go and get that figured out. And it's just because I opened like two other businesses last year and then one this year as well. So I gotta figure all that stuff out.
Yeah. So I just got my return. I didn't get it. I actually my accountant just finished it, so
Oh, nice,
getting paid, man.
dude.
I
Another
love it. It's my money too.
another FTMO account right there.
Yeah, basically,
Right?
basically. I blew mine, so I need
You
a new
did?
one.
No way you
Yeah.
did. Oh
Oh
man,
yeah, dude.
when did that happen?
Bro, I fucking dude. Monday.
Oh no way. Was that when you lost the 2K or whatever when you messaged me?
No, that was I finished out strong. Monday. It was just gambling.
It's all good, dude. As long as you know what you did, a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
people
no,
don't.
I
Yeah,
was yeah.
yeah.
I
As long
knew
as
going in. My
yeah,
bad.
exactly. Like as long as you know that you messed up and you like own up to it, that's all that really matters. A lot of people don't want to come to the reality. Like I feel like some people will feel FTMO and they want to complain to FTO, dude, like nonstop to like try to get it back or something, but they know that the issue was like something on their end.
Dude, it was funny because I was in I was in a crazy like over leveraged position, right? And I'm like, dude, if this hits, I might even fucking pass on one go. You know what I mean? Like this, I might pass today, being in the hole, it might hit. And I was like, let me just look at my credentials for the account.
Yeah.
And I'm in these trades. It wasn't going. It didn't pan out. But long story short, I had already blew my daily max
Oh,
loss.
dude, that's horrible, man. That's the worst, dude. When like you go over the daily and you're still like, it's like if you didn't fail the daily and you kept going and your max was still there, it's the
Yeah,
worst, dude. Like sometimes I've seen some people where they go over just by like a few cents. Like they
yeah.
have their that's probably what happened with you, right? Or was it worse?
No, it was like $100. It wasn't
It
it
wasn't
wasn't
that bad,
crazy.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Sometimes people they just don't realize that the what's called like the commission and stuff is like factored in. So they miss it by like a few $100.
you know what? What got me was because it was Monday. I forgot Sunday's trades counted.
Oh yeah, carried over, right?
You
Because you
know,
in the
yeah,
afternoon.
that's where I missed because I did the math and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that was it.
damn, dude, that sucks,
But
man.
yeah, that picture I send you, I kind of want to look at US 30 10-minute, just the pivots.
Here, let me see. I'm gonna check you out real quick.
Because like I'm seeing like a ton of entries, but it's like you know.
Yeah, throughout this area right here. So this morning the market was just moving, it was moving really weird. So I like if you were you on the live session or no? Not today.
I was for a little bit, as
Okay,
much
yeah.
as I can. Yeah.
Yeah, because this morning it was just market was so choppy. Like for example, let me see. I think you were looking at it from here, right? Let me just go back to your chart. Looks like you were looking at it from when it started to cross over. So I'm assuming it was like somewhere around let me get all the pivots on there real quick. All right, so I'm assuming that you were looking at it when it was like right over here before it got choppy, right?
No, I think it was after the open.
All right, so like right here then. So if I turn off the momentum signals right there, close the candles. Yeah, so you're talking about right here, right? This area?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just if you just zoom out a little bit more from the drop.
Just close this out from up here.
Yeah, if you just look at like just the pivots, right?
Yeah, so if you're looking at just the pivots right here, yeah.
Yeah, so like where you see where at the top to the left, right? As they cross and they start to come down, right?
Hmm.
You're looking for scalp entries at what point in that kind of where because like before that I mean I guess it looks all right, right?
I
Like
mean, this is like a really basic way of looking at it. This probably shouldn't be the way you should be looking at it. This is just a basic way of looking at it. But if you really want to see how price is moving, you would go to like, for example, you're talking about this area up here, right?
yeah,
All right, so if I zoom over here, what you should do, this is like the actual way that you should look at market structure because you can't see market structure just by looking at the pivots, right? This is
yeah,
just showing you if the market's moving smooth. So this will tell you that market's moving smooth up, and then right here it's kind of choppy, and then it's another smooth up right here. But the problem with this is that these pivots don't move the same length as candles. Like the candle can still be like way up here, even though the pivot's like down here, right? So if you pull this up right here, you can see that it's not necessarily a smooth move all the way around. So the way that you should be identifying market structure is you should draw all the zones right here. And I'm sure you've seen how I mark up my sections. Like I'll draw the zones first, and then I'll separate it from when price is actually bouncing from different market structure. So I'll just draw this up for you real quick over here. And then once I draw this up right here, you can see that. Let me just draw the pivots. All right, so once you draw all of these zones up right here, it'll help you with identifying actual market structure. The pivots are just indicating like momentum. So like, for example, if you're just looking at the pivots, it just
mhm,
identifies momentum, right? So momentum strong going up right here. It's a little pullback, then momentum swing back upwards right here. But this doesn't necessarily identify market structure for you. This is just showing you that market like momentum is going up and it's smooth, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, this is market structure. You shouldn't be trading within this area because technically you can still be trading around this area once it breaks past market structure. So if I turn the candles back on, I turn the pivots off, you can see here that we can separate them by like separate areas of market structure. So for example, right here. So right here, this is when price broke into this market structure above here. So I just draw a vertical line there, and then you can see that we could cut it off over here. So if I turn on the pivots, like market will look choppy here, but we already knew it's
mhm.
choppy because we can see market structure is just going sideways. So for example, if I turn off the pivots and I turn the candles back on, you can see that if you just zoom into this area right here, let me see if I could use a magnifying glass. That's the same thing. But yeah, if you just zoom into this area right here, zoom out a little bit. If you zoom into this area right here, and you just ignore everything else, let me just delete this right here. So if you just zoom in as close as you can to this area, you can see that this is market structure here, right? Because price, it fails to like break above this area.
Mm-hmm.
and then it fails to break below this area right here. So as you can see, this is just consolidation right here. So you can tell like consolidating right here just by seeing that, like if you were to delete all these other zones, like you see how clear market structure is right here.
Yeah.
So this is how you should identify market structure. You should identify where price fails to break outside of a certain area. So this is where you should be looking at when you're determining when to take trades. Like for example, if you're looking at the pivots, let me just looking at the pivots. Like right here, you could possibly take some buys here, but if you tie that in with actual market structure identification, like for example, like right here, you see a buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably like if you just look at the pivots, it looks like you might have taken this right here possibly because they're still kind of spread out a little bit. But if you were able to identify the actual market structure, you probably would have just skipped this right here, right? Because it's just going sideways.
So you're looking at it, hits that top, and then it comes down and tests that first kind of zone. So you're saying you're gonna wait, right, until it makes its move down or up.
Exactly, yeah. Because if you so if we're just looking at like this one right here, because this would obviously be a buy entry right here, and this would probably be a loss. So right here, let's see. Yeah, because it only goes up, or I mean, depending on what strategy you're applying, it only goes up like 30, 35 pips, but it drops 50 pips. You would have, if your TP stop loss was 50-50, you probably would have lost. But if you were to just rewind it from here, if you rewind it to that area, then you would have been able to identify this market structure right here because you can see price broke into the structure. It came up, but it failed to break above it. So this is what I would consider like, sometimes if I'm on the live session, I'm like, oh, this is a risky trade. I don't want to take it. It's because I've identified market structure right here. I've noticed that price broke into the structure and then it hasn't broken outside of it yet.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
that. Yeah.
So it's a little more detailed. I just showed you guys a pivot thing to show you guys like an easier way to identify it. But in reality, you kind of have to go deeper into it because the pivots only tell you so much. And I think now that you see this gives you better understanding as to like, what to focus on.
Yeah, because I'm seeing all these entries and I'm like, dude, I'm like, why do I keep losing? And then you told me the pivot thing, so now I'm looking at the pivots and I'm
Yeah,
like, all right, when is it okay to actually trade them? But it doesn't matter
exactly.
with the pivots; it's the zones.
Yeah, it's the zones. The zones are always going to be the most important thing because the zones are what actually shows you market structure. So for example, right here, like, how we were looking at this area here, like if I was to rewind it back to that candle, if this was the case right here, we could probably avoid, and we could ignore like all these other zones here. Like if we were to ignore all these zones, you can see that price is ranging within that little area right there now, right?
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot clearer. Like once you actually know what you're looking for, basically what you're looking for is a ceiling and a floor. That's really what you are. So like you can see price breaks into this area. This becomes a ceiling. This becomes a floor. Price hasn't broken above it, so price is probably not going to shoot up. So if I was to see this entry right here, I probably would have skipped it, and then I would have just waited for it to. I would have just waited for it to break outside, like back out. But right here, obviously, if you just watch it, it doesn't break outside of it. It just ends up getting stuck within those two zones. And then again, right here, I wouldn't even take these sells here, even though you have like a sell entry right there, or I guess this green one, because there's a buy entry there, and then for this green one right here, there's a sell entry, right? Because it's rejecting off that orange pivot. So in this situation, I wouldn't take any of these trades because for me, if I'm just looking at it, I'm like, all right, price has been moving for how long? It's been moving for like over an hour and a half, right? And it hasn't moved at all, and it's just going sideways. So at this point, it's not moving directional; it's just going sideways and consolidating. So that's why I would just skip all of these entries right here. Even though they could be, possible decent entries, I would skip them because they're not really moving directional.
Yeah, that makes sense because I see that too. Like where you get like a buy and then a sell and a buy and a sell, and it's like one of them hits and the other one loses.
Exactly, right. And it's hard to tell. Like it's really hard to tell like what is important or not. So like going back to here, what I just mentioned, like once you draw that up right there, then you can chop it up into even another area. So like for example, price breaks out. You can see price break into this structured area over here, and it just bounces around. So like once it breaks into here, you could kind of chop this up from this area up until, let's see, I guess you could chop it up until this area over here until price breaks out of it. So it's the same situation again right here, but you can see that from this area, price kind of goes up. So you could probably take some buy scalps as it goes this way, maybe some sell scalps as it goes this way, because you can see that they're breaking out of these structures, right? You can see it consolidates right here, then it breaks above. So as it breaks above, you can take some buy scalps. As it goes sideways again right here, as it breaks below, you can take some sell scalps, and then vice versa, it swings back up. And then you can kind of see that there's levels to it. Like you can see price goes to consolidation, bullish, pulls back down, consolidation, bearish, swings back up, consolidation. And what you're really looking for is you're looking for moves like this. See how this is like really cutting down? This is something that you kind of want to look for, something when it's actually moving. And then obviously you can see right here, if you wanted to chop this up right here again, it looks like price breaks into this area around here. And then from this point, this is like a separate area of market structure. But you can you tell like what I mean by that? Well, like how price goes from market structure to market structure?
Yeah.
Like
it's like jumps up and then it plays in those zones and then it'll goes back down.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a bit of a storyline. So like basically right here, it's going sideways, it breaks above, then it goes sideways, breaks below, goes sideways, breaks below, goes sideways, breaks back up, comes back down. Now it's just sideways within this area again right here. So that's how I would do it. But this thing just comes with like practice. Like the more and more you do it, the more and more you'll start to see it a lot easier. Because like for me, for example, right here for US 30, I probably wouldn't mess with it because it's just going sideways right here. Like if you were to just draw a couple lines here, you can kind of see that price isn't really moving. Or actually, I guess it broke out of it like above here, but then it's coming back down. So if we were to draw a couple zones right there, you can see that price is just pretty much bouncing around this area right here. So I wouldn't really mess with US 30 until say, it breaks up above here. Because then if it breaks above here, it's probably going to keep pushing up and you can take some scalps in that direction. Or vice versa, if it breaks below here, it'll probably keep dropping even further.
Okay, yeah, because I guess my problem with this was I guess I was just looking for every possible entry.
Yeah.
Thinking like, oh, it's good, but the way that you broke it up and now you're using the zones, it kind of makes sense. Now you're looking for you're looking for a trading.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why I'm really selective with my trades. I'm not always just hopping into every single trade. Like I see people hop into every single trade. And the thing is, it could work, but it's not always going to work. Like because sometimes like there'll be patches where price is just choppy for like a couple hours, but then there'll be times where price is choppy for like a whole day. Like today, price is choppy all day. I just took one trade. I made my profit and then I was chilling since then. Because when this happened this morning, dude, like price is just moving way too much. Like it dropped right here. Let's see how far it dropped. It dropped.
Yeah, the open candle.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah, there was a buy scalp entry, but like even I was like, I'm not taking that on the open candle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I never take the opening candle. Well, I mean, sometimes I do. Like I keep telling myself not to, but sometimes it looks too good and I take it. But yeah, that opening candle, like that's where it got kind of messy because it started to whipsaw. Like for right here, this was the opening candle. It's a big green one. And then like I mentioned, like, whenever price ends up going that high, it's either gonna swing back down and go back to where it originally was before the market opened, or it's going to continue pushing up. And then for example, here, it ended up coming back down and then it whipsawed back up from that point. So
yeah, that was crazy. That was fast too.
Yeah, and it moves really fast, and it's like it makes it impossible for you to really scalp when it's moving like this. Like if it continued to push up, like for example, if it didn't drop down like this and it continued to push up, like you've seen where we have like really good days where it shoots up and it just keeps pushing up even higher and higher. Like when that happens, that's an easy way to scalp. But vice versa, if we're trading like this, it makes it kind of difficult because our stop loss is only 500 pips. So like if it pulls back on us at any point, like say, for example, if you sold down here and then it swings back up, like you're done. And then you go for another. This is how they trick you. Like people will enter a sell right here. They'll get stopped out. And then at this point they enter a buy because they're like, oh, price is definitely going to keep going in that direction. So they enter like the sell here at the low. They get stopped out. And they're like, okay, price is definitely going to go back up to where it was originally. So people end up entering a buy right here. and then their stop loss is right there, and then they let it run, and then they get stopped out again. That, or I don't know, maybe they would have hit TP, but it would have gotten really close. So like when stuff like this is happening, I usually just chill out. I don't take any trades. And today, there was just a lot of news. Like this morning, there was the oil inventories news, the residential news, and then Biden also spoke this afternoon too. I'm not sure if you caught that, but he spoke
No.
he spoke like right after I got offline. So like I was watching the charts after I got offline, and then the market started getting a little crazy again. I think over here around like 12 my time. Yeah, right here. Because he was going over his stimulus plan. So right here around like 12 o'clock, this is when markets started to drop heavy. And then after that, I think this is when people pulled out, where they were just like, screw it, I'm not going to trade. And then price just went sideways from
Just
there.
like died, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Because he spoke around this time. It was around 12, like literally on 12. And that's when the market started dumping.
Yeah, because I think I was watching this live stream early before market opened.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at the chart and I'm like, look, oh, entry, but
Yeah.
this morning so much sense, dude.
This morning there was a ton of entries. Well, the problem with that too, because I did look at the charts this morning, there was a huge zone on the bottom. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
Yeah, it was just all one big zone.
Exactly. When something like that happens, I don't even bother trading. I don't like trading when there's a huge zone for the 10-minute. I like it when there's small zones because it kind of gives you those like literal sniper entries, right? So you see the sniper,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, that looks clean, so you take the trade. But when there's a big zone, so I think, yeah, let me just go back right here. It was like, let me go back to 6 o'clock, because I remember I drew that zone. I was like, damn, this is a huge. Oh, this one right here, yeah, this is like way too big. Like when this happens right here, I don't take trades because you can see that there's like a million areas to trade. Like there is like a sell here, a sell here.
Yeah, that was a
Sell
question I
here.
was going to ask too. Like, if you're in that zone, you don't want to trade in that, right?
Yeah, I usually don't want to trade it when it's this big because it doesn't really give you certainty, right? Because you're looking at it and you're like, they look like good entries, but in reality, there's entries from both directions. Like for example, here, if you looked at this green one, there's an entry from above and there's an entry from below. And you just have to understand how the market moves, right? Like you sometimes you just have to be very selective with like the trades that you want to take. Like for example, if I was to take one of these trades here and I took a loss, I would have just chilled out. Like if I took one loss right here, let me see if this would have been a loss. See, 50-50. I mean, he got close to TP down there, but then I think it does swing up. Yeah. So this would have been a loss. See, if I was to eat a loss like this, I would have just been like, all right, market is fucked right now. So I'm going to take a break. And it just happens, you know, like sometimes stuff like this is going to happen. Like market's never always going to be 100% smooth. And these are just one of those days where it's kind of best to just sit out the market. Like for myself, I probably saved a lot. Like I missed out on a lot of losses by just sitting out today, and just taking that one trade is fine. Cause I made like, how much did I make on the trade? Like $900, I think. It was like towards the end. Did you catch that last trade that I gave? Like the official one that I gave today?
No, I wasn't on, but I think I got the message.
Oh yeah, it was let me see. Yeah, it was this one right here. I just took one trade. I just set and forget it. Like I took the trade before we left, before we went off, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna let it play out. And I came back and it was like up about 1,000. So I mean, it played out fine, but I mean that was that. Like we literally waited all day for that one. I don't know if you were looking at Josh's strategy, but that was actually hitting like all morning today.
Was it? I'm still trying to
Figure it out.
I mean, now like like with the 10-minute, there's just like the kinks I'm working out. You know, I've been testing the 3-minute too.
Yeah, no, he
But like I guess one of my questions with the 3-minute is like if it closes above all the pivots, right? That's an entry, right? A valid entry.
Yeah, well, Josh kind of changed a little bit. He just uses
Okay.
He uses only the level 3 and 4 pivots now. So he took off the 1 and 2, and basically if price is like closing above it, so there's two different types of entries that you can take. Like for Josh's, this is gonna be Josh K2 US 30 minute scalp. Yeah, so his requirements are just identify K2 momentum signal, and then 2A is going to be confirm what was it, signal candle crosses K2 pivot 3 and 4, or 2B confirm signal candle is above or below both K2 pivot 3 and 4. So for example here, if you just look at these entries, there was a couple entries that were available here, like this green one, I think. And so this morning was, oh yeah, this whole morning actually, he took like a lot of these trades and he did pretty well. Like we skipped out over the beginning one, and then I think he took this one right here. So he took this one over here, 25.50. So if he took that trade right there, the reason he would have taken this trade is because the what was that? Yeah, reason he would have taken this is because this green candle was crossing both the level 3 and 4 pivot right there. So that qualifies an entry. So with that, if he took this trade here, full TP off that one, and then he would have skipped this red one right here because it's invalid. For this one over here, he would have taken this this buy here as well. So same situation here, full TP, 25 pips. He would have skipped this red one because it's not crossing the pivots and it's not below the pivots. So you skip that one. He would have taken this buy right here, full TP off that. Skip this red one because it's above the pivots. It's not crossing. He would have taken this one right here. I think this would hit stop loss. Yeah. So this is one of the ones that would hit stop loss. But at that point, he already made 3 wins. So he'd still be net profit for, or he probably would have flipped it. So like, for example, here, there's like one entry that was right here. So he probably would have flipped it, or he would have just eaten this loss and then taken this one over here, this red one, since it crosses below. So if he was to take this trade right here, that would have hit TP right there. So another full TP right there. This would have been a loss right here for a buy, I believe. But overall, if you took like every trade, I mean, like I mentioned before, you kind of have to be selective as well. I think so. I don't think I would have taken every single trade. I need to figure out like something to like I might want to draw the zones here so I can identify market structure as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that the market structure. You should do that on everything, right? Before you do any kind of trade.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's usually the first thing I do because I want to see what's going on with the market, right? Because it's kind of hard to tell if the market's trending or if it's consolidating. Because this, for example, right here could have been consolidation. It kind of looks like it is because if I drew a zone right here, let's see, a zone above there, and then a zone below here, this does look like it's in some consolidation right here. So if I was to see this over here, I probably would have just skipped this trade altogether. Like I probably would have taken this one because it broke above the structure. But once I saw it over here rejecting off this point, like once I saw it getting to this point, because it actually tested above here already. So if I saw it test above here, it came down and it was coming back up, I probably would have skipped this trade. And then I would have avoided that loss. And then I probably would have skipped this trade too. I would have avoided this win. And then I would have skipped this trade right here. So I would have avoided 1 win and 2 losses. So if that was the case right there, I'd still be undefeated for the day, right? Because I'd have these 3 wins right here.
Yeah.
So it is important that you identify market structure because as you can see right here, as price starts to break below, at that point, like you can see prices breaking below the structure down here, then you can start taking trades again. See, as price comes back down, you have a sell signal right there. You enter that sell right here, 25.50, another full TP right there.
Okay.
So the same thing that I showed you works on everything is, but I definitely think the first thing that should be done at all times is going to be identifying market structure because that's going to give you the hint whether you should trade or not.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, for example, like I mentioned, if you were to skip these, that you'd be perfectly fine because even though you would have missed out on 1 loss, I mean on 1 win, you would have avoided these 2 losses. So instead of having 4 wins or 5 wins and 2 losses, you would just have a total of 4 wins and 0 losses. Because I think that's what Josh did. Let me check Josh's messages here because he told me earlier. Let's see. This dude had, yeah, he's 4-0 for today. So
Okay.
he took
Nice.
those trades right there. And I think he did what I mentioned. He identified market structure to identify, where and where not to trade. So yeah, he messaged me at 10 a.m. He was 4-0. So yeah, he took these trades over here from market open up until 10 a.m. So he did pretty good today. And his strategy works pretty good. I mean, it's really similar to the snipe strategy. It's just, small variations when because he uses the actual momentum signal, which I do like using. It's just, you got to figure out a way that it works with it. And, he's figured out the way. So it
Yeah,
definitely,
no, I like it because it's quick.
yeah, it's quick and it gives you something to actually look for, right? Because like when we're doing the snipe entries, like you were saying, there's so many entries, so you don't know which one to actually take. If you're using the momentum signal, you're like, all right, there's a signal there, so it's easier for you to go and back test it, right? Because there's like these signals don't appear, they don't disappear. Like once they appear,
Hmm.
like you can do an actual back test and see how it actually works, long term.
Yeah, I was actually I was testing a lot over the past couple of days.
Nice, nice,
And
yeah,
yeah, I was testing the 3 minute, the 10 minute, and then I was testing the Open, New York Open, and Asia Open. One thing I
exactly.
noticed with New York, on the full TP wins, like I don't know what the percentage would be, but most of the time it goes like 200 points in
Like,
profit.
oh, and profit before
Yeah,
all the ones that lose.
no, the ones that win. So like your full TP, the 150 points, 100, 1,500 pips.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of them that are like 200, uh, you know, 250, 240, 220, uh, 237 points in profit from that trade. Like if you just kept, you didn't have that full TP on and you just let it run to the top, like good
Oh,
majority of them.
oh yeah, you're talking about for the daily entries, right?
Yeah, yeah, for New York
Oh,
Open.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I take those daily entries, I don't even have a target. I just have a stop loss and I just adjust it as it moves. And that's a way that you can do it if you can actively manage it. But, majority of people don't actively manage their position. So if you were to do something like that, uh, basically you could just, put no TP. And then as it reaches TP1, like 750 pips, you can move your stop loss and profit. Then move it to 1500, you move your stop loss and profit, and you just keep riding the wave until it ends. The only reason why I have that sweet spot at 150 is because, market starts to reverse sometimes. Like I'm sure you've seen it. It reverses halfway through the market. So the thing is, if we get the signal really early, like right when market opens, um, that momentum's probably only going to last like maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then it's probably going to swing back in the other direction. So that's where it becomes risky. But I think, I mean, depending on how far you back tested it, the past couple of weeks were pretty strong, but then there were a couple of weeks before that were really slow. Like there were some trades where we held them for like over a day. Like they ended up hitting TP, but we ended up holding them for like over 24 hours. So, if your TP was past 150, then you might have gone burned if you held it for too long. And especially if you're holding it and not adjusting it, right? Because sometimes people
Yeah,
forget. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
This is just for March that I got
mhm.
them tested, but the majority of the ones that have went into 200 points, the highest the stop loss has ever been is like 130, 137,
Yeah, it gets like really close, right?
117.
Yeah, it gets super close to the,
Only on a few of them.
yeah,
There's one like it was 240 points in profit, and the stop loss was only, I mean, the drawdown was only 44 points. There was one that was 200, drawdown was 17. It's like, I'm thinking, like, yeah, why put a,
exactly, right. Yeah, no, I agree with you, bro. Like that's why, like, well, for me, like me personally, it's hard to teach someone that because if you're teaching someone that's brand new, that's why I give like really specific parameters and requirements for the strategies because it's hard for a lot of traders to just follow direction. So like if I give them an open-ended thing, like you said, like leave your TP open and just adjust stop loss,
mm,
like majority of people are probably not going to do that properly. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard for me to teach people that way. I got to keep it simple. But yeah, no, definitely, if you can do that, that's all. That's perfectly fine. If you look at my exit strategy videos, that's actually how the original strategy works.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the way I used to teach people before. But the thing is, everyone kept messing it up. So I stopped teaching it that way because it just became too complicated for people to follow.
Yeah, see, I'm like the other way. Like you give me the steps, and like unless I know how it's working, like you could give me the steps all you want, I'm gonna fuck it up. And unless I can actually visualize it and see it and put the numbers together, like it just doesn't click until until I actually dive into it myself.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. So like whenever I teach people stuff, I'm literally just giving the foundation. Like literally, you're supposed to build off the foundation and mold it into your own way of trading. And that's how a lot of people are. Like that's how Josh created, the 3-minute strategy. Like I didn't teach him that, and he knew the steps of the original strategy, and what he did was he just started changing it up a bit to cater to his own trading style because he likes to trade on the shorter time frames, and he doesn't like to be indecisive. Like he would rather have the signal tell him like, "Hey, bro, take a trade here," rather than think about it and be like, "Oh, should I take a trade here?" He wants to know for sure, like a specific entry point. And it's kind of similar with like CT strategy as well, because CT likes to like for him, he marks up the zones on the 15-minute and he makes the entries on the 3-minute. So he knew the foundation of trading it on the 10-minute, but then he started playing around with it and he saw that the 15 and 3 actually worked better for himself, like how he trades. So that's why he started doing that. But he's always changing it up. Like he doesn't have a set strategy that he uses. He uses like a flex way of trading. Like he'll see things on the market. He does the same thing I do. He draws structure on the market first, and then he'll apply different requirements depending on how the market's moving at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, like I'm giving you guys the foundational stuff, but it's really up to you how you want to really apply it. If you're able to actively manage your position, then yeah, I definitely agree that you should leave no TP, because then you're just limiting your trades at that point, right? If you like, because there's a lot of times where you'll see it break through your TP and they just keep shooting farther and farther and farther. Um, but then that could be a double-edged sword, because sometimes like there'll be days where you can't manage your trade. Like if you go to sleep and you don't have a TP, and it could literally tap your TP and come right back down to your stop loss. So that's there's pros and cons to it. It just depends on how often you can actively manage the position.
I think, I mean, if you're not, from what I learned over the past couple days, if you're not actively managing your positions, it's like a 50-50.
Oh, exactly, 100%. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and that's why I personally don't like even myself now, because I feel like if you're actively managing your positions, you're not really trading uh consistently, right? Because you never know when your emotions are going to come into play. And if your emotions come into play, there's going to be some days where you're like, oh, should I move my stop loss and profit? And if you don't have a set plan, like that's why I give everyone a set plan, and whenever you have the strategies, there's a set checklist to cross out. Because if I don't give people like set requirements, they're going to do something different every other day. Like they're going to be like, oh, this requirement's met, but I don't know if I like, they're going to like take shortcuts, right? And that's what a lot of people.
Yeah. No, they're gonna. So only one was met, but this looks really good. Let me get in
And
here.
just look at taking it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, everything that I teach is just foundational, but it's really up to everyone else on how they want to apply it. But if they just want to stick to the foundation works. So, whenever I tell people to go back to the basics, that's pretty much going back to the basics, because sometimes people add too many things. Like I've seen people start to add like the RSI to like US 30. They add like the MACD, Bollinger Band, stuff like that. I'm like, all right, if it works for you, use it. But if you start to lose trades, just go back to what I originally taught you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys went over Josh's strategy that one night,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there something about the trend?
Well, that's when it's below the pivot or above the pivot. So, for example,
Oh, it wasn't the trend meter.
no, it's just he calls it
Oh, okay.
trend entry, because when price is below the pivots, price is trending down. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so the out of the requirements, well, I deleted it, but the requirement that was 2B, where it said if the signal was above or below all the pivots, that would be considered a trend trade. So, for example, here
Okay.
we have the sell signal, but it's below the pivots, right? So, for example, here this would have been considered a trend trade, because it's just going with the trend
Yeah.
downwards. So
Yeah, because
this
I
would be
was,
considered a trend trade.
my bad. I was like, what is he putting it on? 3 minutes, just all the way across?
Exactly. Yeah. No. Definitely. That's pretty much what he does for the most part. but it works. Like I'm starting to probably well, the way he trades too, I think this works on even the higher time frames. It works kind of similar with the what was I going to say, for the K2SR strategy, like how I was mentioning how price break structure, like if you're to identify market structure and whenever it breaks above, it kind of ties in well. Like this right here, like this buy that happened before market open. Like if you were to take this would have qualified for Josh's his strategy, his 3-minute strategy. And it also indicates that price is breaking above and it's likely to continue pushing upwards higher. Let me see this right here.
You see that candle? Do you like that it closed above that zone?
Which one? That momentum. What is this right here? Man, I hate when this happens sometimes when my charts overlap. I don't know if that ever happens to you.
No, I'm always removing the drawings because I just get carried away.
Oh yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah, see how it closed above the zone?
This one right here? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like another, in your head, you're saying, okay, that's another indicator that it's going to go up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's like, secondary confirmations that you can use. Like, for example, just you looking at Josh's strategy, we have the buy signal here. It's also above the pivot. So this would be a trend trade. And then on top of that, it's also breaking the structure. So with that said, that's like an extra confirmation, like, hey, price is probably going to keep pushing up because it's classified as a lot of different confirmations. Like if I was to check off the number of confirmations that were here for this specific trade right here, that would indicate that I would want to take it. I'll just put them right here. So these are like confirmations of a good trade. So first, Josh 3-minute strategy satisfied. So that's 1. 2, quick rejection off K2 pivot. 3, K2 buy momentum signal. 4, K2, or I'd put valid. So valid K2. 4, price broke close past K2SR zone. And these give you just for one, the strategy that we're looking for is Josh's strategy. So that's number 1. That's the first confirmation. So that's like, all right, it's cool. But here's another one too. 5th one. Trending up. So, the more confirmations you have, like the stronger the trade will be. So like, for example, here, this is like the only one that we're really looking for. We're looking for Josh's 3-minute strategy. On top of that, we can identify secondary things. Like secondary things is there's a wick rejection right here. That's indicating that price is probably going to bounce off and shoot up. Third, we have a valid K2 buy momentum signal right here. So that's like a third confirmation. The 4th confirmation would be price broke and closed past the K2SR zone. And number 5 is prices trending up. So you're looking for as many things as possible that are basically telling you, price is probably going to go up in that direction. So looking at this one right here, this is another entry right here, but this doesn't satisfy all the requirements, right? So like right here, this would be Josh's strategy. So we could check this one off right here. Like, let me see if I could draw a line over it. Yeah. So right here, we check this off, right? The first one, but none of these here are met. So if you're looking at all these requirements here, you're like, all right, this is probably not a very confident trade. Like this isn't going to make me feel good about this trade because I just have one requirement that's met or one confirmation that's met. Same with over here, this candle over here, same thing. It's just the first requirement that's met, but there's nothing else here that gives me any other confirmation that this is probably gonna be a good trade. So I probably would have skipped these two right here. This right here satisfies like all of these here. Like it has Josh's 3-minute strategy, the wick rejection from the bottom, valid K2 momentum signal right here, price broke and closed past the structure, and also on top of that, price is trending up. So that's like 5 confirmations, so that gives you a better idea of like what's going to happen from here. So if you were to take this trade for a long right there, so from right here, if you were to take this trade, Cody, my bad, bro.
Money.
All right, it's good. Oh, this dude's barking. Steve barks out of nowhere. He was like in my patio looking at, I think he saw his reflection. It's where he likes to look at himself in the mirror. So so this dude, he probably saw his reflection from my balcony. and then this dude started barking at himself.
That's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
My dog gets weird like that too.
Yeah, I know it's weird, man. Dogs are weird, bro, but it's funny. It's just funny
Just
whenever.
to like give me a day in their brain just to like what they think and see. Like I'm just curious, you know?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like chicken scratch. Like, what do you guys?
Yeah.
They got like ADD, bro. Like they'll be looking at one thing and they'll be looking at something else like right after. Like they'll do one thing and then they'll do something completely different like a few seconds later.
Yeah. I swear my dog could see ghosts. Cause
Oh, dude, me too.
yeah.
Yeah, like my dog too. Like he usually doesn't bark, like because I have two dogs, but one of my dogs he doesn't usually bark, but he only barks when he sees people, like actual people, or he hears people. So like one day he was like barking like in my closet, and I was like, the fuck, like what
Oh
is
my
he barking
God.
at? Yeah, it was weird. And then I kept calling him to come over, and he was just like in there, like he doesn't like when I call him, he usually comes, but he just stayed in there. So I was like, the hell? Freaking weird. So I think he sees ghosts. I think all dogs see ghosts.
They have to.
Honestly.
They have
Yeah.
to. Because my dog will like stare into like a corner of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean like stare, like not just like staring off into space, like she's looking at something.
Yeah, yeah, like in a
And you're
corner,
like,
right?
yeah,
Like
and
shut
you're
up.
like looking over, like, what the fuck are you looking at? But she's like locked on. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's scary, man.
Yeah. Hey, see where you got that entry? What
Yeah.
about that one? There's one to the right, like not the next candle, but the candle after
Oh,
that.
this red one?
No, to the oh, this is Josh's strategy. My bad.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking it's a 10 minute. My bad. No, you're right.
Oh, we can go to 10. You want to look at the 10-minute? We can look to see because I know.
Yeah, I was just looking at wicks and rejections.
Yeah,
And
no, let's go over here. So let me just go ahead and I'll just draw these zones over here.
now, would you say that the 10 minute zones would be good for if you're bouncing between the 3 minute and the 10 minute strategy, or
Yeah,
do
I
you
think
want to
yeah.
put the 3 minute zones on it?
Actually, you make a good point there. I think that the 10-minute or the 15 minute would be better because for the three
Okay.
minute, there's too many zones there, bro. There's like so many zones where they overlap a lot, or they're just not clean
Mm-hmm.
zones, right? Like for example,
Yeah.
I'll draw these zones here on the 10-minute, and I'll go down to the 3-minute, and that it's actually a lot cleaner. Let's see if I can pull this up right here. This is good. All right, so yeah, if we draw these zones right here, and I go down to the 3-minute, it actually looks a lot cleaner from there. Like you could literally see a storyline just by looking at all the bounces.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it bounces from here, comes down, comes back up, comes down, comes back up, comes down. So it's like a pretty clean storyline. So yeah, if you're using the 10-minute zones here on the 3-minute, this actually helps out a lot. So that's a good
All right.
call with
Cool.
that.
Yeah.
And then like what you can do too is like once you go down to the 3-minute, you could actually clean it up a little more. Like for example, if you're just focusing on this area here, like you can literally just delete this zone and this zone right there, and you can see it's just a consolidation area. Or if you wanted to make it even tighter, you could just look at it from here. If you were like looking at this little zoned area right here, like you
Oh
can like
yeah, yeah.
you can mix and match things. Like I was mentioning, the zones are just foundation. But like if you're looking for something specific, like for example, here now that we've been looking at this area, it seems like the actual area of importance is going to be like right here, like from this point. So if you're looking at rejections from this point down here up to here, you can just you can just delete these two ones right here because they're kind of irrelevant at that point. So this is all that you're looking for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was the one night I was drawing zones, and like there's some zones that just look really nice where the price will jump up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just drawing the zones that kind of jumped out at me, and
Mm-hmm.
it like really looked like good, but I didn't think that was something that I should do.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like once you get to that point, like I was mentioning first, you draw all the zones, and then once you identify market structure, like for example, we already crossed out this area right here as market structure for where price currently is. Like once you have that set up, then you can start deleting irrelevant zones. Like this zone right here, it's relevant, but it's not that relevant, right? Like you don't really care if price breaks above or below the zone, so you can
Mm-hmm.
delete that. And then same with down here. It's like this zone is a rational. This is a solid zone right here because we're only following within this area over here. Let me just move this over a little bit when price broke into this area. So yeah, if we're just looking within this little small area right here, you can technically just close this zone because if this becomes important, right, it cleans it up a whole lot. Because then now you're just waiting for price to break below here or above here to give you a confirmation of, if it's establishing higher highs or lower lows, stuff like that. And especially if you're scalping, if we're doing the 3-minute, 10-minute, like anything below the 30-minute, it's better to have more precise zones rather than having so many. It's different on 4-hour because if you're on the 4-hour, like these zones are actually important. You could have a bunch of zones, but it's easier to identify market structure when you're on the 4-hour because you can see all the zones where they kind of bounce from zone to zone. But on the 3-minute, there's so many zones that are close to each other, then it would only make sense for you to delete the irrelevant ones within the middle of the price movement.
Now, if you're doing your 10-minute scalp strategy, you could theoretically pick the zones you like and then just base it off of those zones, right?
Oh, exactly, 100%. Like for example, here, if you were to, well, even for myself, like when I'm looking at this from the 10-minute, I don't necessarily draw every zone. Like if I'm looking for, scalp entries right here, or I'm using the 10-minute, I'm only drawing the zones that are actually close to price. Like I'm drawing like this zone right here. I'm drawing like this zone right here. And then I'm probably drawing this zone right here. Because everything else is pretty irrelevant at this point. Because even if we're looking for entries, the only ones that are important are going to be the ones where price is actually rejecting from. So I don't really look at anything else. I'll have this here. Sometimes I'll even take something off like this, and then I'll just catch some entries off there. So like, for example, right here, well, I mean, if you were to do that, you probably miss this entry right here.
I was going to ask if you like that entry.
This one right here, this, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty solid, but I would probably wait for it. Like sometimes I don't like the initial entry. What I like to happen is that sometimes I like price to come down, come back up, and then I'll take it when it's below here.
Oh, okay.
So like sometimes I don't take the first entry. Like there's a couple different confirmations that I look for. Like I probably wouldn't take the very first candle right there. However, if this one right here closes, so say we have another entry off here off the green one, because sometimes when you look at the entries, there's like an entry that's right after it. And if there's two entries that follow each other, that gives you better confirmation that trade's probably going to play out. So I probably wouldn't have taken the first one. I would wait for a second entry right here. And if that closed, then I would possibly take it there. Or I would just wait for it to come down, provide for another entry. Because there's probably like, if you look at all the entries, sometimes there's like 3 to 4 to 5 entries available. And you could literally just take one of them and you'll be fine. But if you want to be very careful, you can wait for maybe the second entry, third entry, maybe not the fourth or fifth, because that's probably when the move is going to be ending. But, or even in some instances, like say, for example, here, like see how this move is still coming down, like I mentioned?
Yeah.
So if this happens right here and this move hasn't finished yet, like I'll enter it, but I'll use the parameters for this specific entry here. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay. So you put like a sell stop in, right?
No. So like if price comes down over here, say for example, price comes down and then there's like a late entry, but the entry is like right here. Like say we have another setup that sets up down here because price comes down, comes up, but it still hasn't finished its move. If that happens right there, I'll enter right here, and then I won't have an even 1-to-1 risk reward, but it's going to give me confirmation that price is probably going to come down and hit CP. So it's like a late entry. It's kind of like a give or take, right? Like you're not going to have a good risk to reward because you're entering late, but you have better confidence because you believe that the price is going to, continue in that direction. So that's why.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you might have given away 10 pips or 10 points.
Exactly.
To wait.
Yeah, you give away like 10 points, but then you already know the price is going to come down. Like, see how I mentioned right here? See how there's another entry?
Yeah.
So if you entered late right here, you probably would have, like, if you wanted to enter right here, you would still probably would hit TP, but you're going to give up like, 10 points or whatever. Yeah, exactly. To get in late. But then you'll have the peace of mind that, okay, price is probably going to play out like we thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's moving.
Yeah. So
Hey,
there's other ways to identify things. There's just, it really depends on what you're looking for.
yeah, I'm gonna start doing that before I even do anything. Just draw the zones, and kind of analyze it, and then
Yeah.
start looking. I
Yeah.
was just jumping right into the 10-minute. You know what
You
I
just
mean?
hop right in. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you get excited. You see it. And you're like, oh, this looks like a good trade. And you just hop in, right?
yeah. I'm like, oh, there's one, there's two, there's three. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Keep
Joey,
going. Yo,
this is if you turn on the momentum indicator, that's the first signal for Asian that sell.
oh, is it?
Oh, see, that's another. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is.
And it gave the confluence of the sell off the rejection.
Exactly. And that would be another confirmation. Like I was saying earlier, there's extra confirmations that you guys can use. Like you'll see that entry there and you see a sell momentum. You're like, oh, okay, this is for sure going to be a good entry. So maybe if you saw that, you would have just hopped into it. I'll probably like eventually, it's hard for me to really teach you guys these confirmations because I don't really think about them, right? Like whenever I'm analyzing, I already know what I'm looking for. If I see stuff that increases the odds of me winning, then I just, I do a mental checklist. But I think I should probably take note of what I'm looking for, because there's a lot of little hints that you can look at the chart, just staring at it. Like the whole list I made for you guys earlier, like that's something that I don't really have a checklist for. I kind of just know just by looking at the chart. Like there's a couple of things to look at, like if price breaks structure, if there's a rejection off a pivot, if there's a rejection off a structure, if there's a sell signal, a buy signal. There's a whole bunch of other things that you guys can factor in to like increase your confidence with with these trades. So this does look like a good trade. I'm like, man, I'm so tempted to hop in, but like I said, if we hop in right now, we're probably gonna throw away like 10 pips.
Yeah, I noticed some of the Asia signals, they ran too pretty far.
Yeah, and it's like hit or miss, because sometimes the Asia session is like really slow. Sometimes
It is, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's really fast, sometimes it's really slow. So like even during Asia session, man, I'm gonna hop into this trade, whatever. I'm gonna YOLO this trade. Oh man, I hate MT4, dude. Sometimes I try to hop into trades and it doesn't execute. So then I gotta refresh my browser. And then sometimes I'm worried that I enter like twice.
Yeah, if you go March 28th.
March 28th.
Yeah. At I don't know what time it is for you. It's 15:30.
Let me go to that real quick. Let me set my TP stop loss real quick. I think I'm probably just gonna go for 250 pips, because the price just doesn't move as fast for Asia session. I also was picking my car today to get the wrap done, but this dude's lagging, and man, he's like, it's the worst, right? I feel like I left my car there for 2 weeks already.
Really?
Yeah, man, freaking sucks. This dude, like, he was supposed to be done with it a week ago, but he ended up, I feel like this, because I've been tracking my car, because for the Tesla, you can track it on your phone, so you can see where the car's been.
Oh, nice. They can't take it out.
Exactly. Like this dude literally, like he said he was gonna work on it all week, but he just left it like in the front of the shop. And I was like, if it's in the front of the shop, he's definitely not wrapping it,
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, like, and
I know, but my car does the same thing with the Apple.
Oh yeah, you got that?
Yeah, and it doesn't move though, but it's in that area. Like it'll just stay where you parked it, even though they move it like in the same parking lot. Like it doesn't, you don't see it move around.
Exactly. Yeah. Nah, dude, it sucks, man. Like,
What color did you get it?
I'm just getting it like a brighter blue. It's more like a mirror blue, like it's chrome blue, but it's more chrome. Like the chrome blue before it was chrome, but you'd have to see it in like direct sunlight. Like the sun would have to be beaming on it to look like really chrome. But this one that I got it rewrapped, it's more of like a darker blue, but it's like chrome all over. Like it's always chrome. Like when you look at it.
I know you're talking about. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't know let me see if I can find a picture of it. Let's see.
How fast is that Tesla?
Pretty quick, dude. It's faster than most cars. Let me check it. Let's look at Tesla real quick, the website.
I know they're like 0 to 60 is crazy.
Yeah, the 0 to 60 is 2.5 seconds.
Wow.
It's freaking fast, dude. Like,
Dude,
when you,
is that serious peak horsepower?
yeah, because there's like the torque is like, what is it? It's like unlimited torque because you just step on the gas and it literally just like takes off, bro. Like, because there's no engine, it's just a battery. So you know how you play with like a remote control car, like when you just
Yeah.
and it just takes off like super quick. That's basically what it does. Because there's no gears, so literally just goes like speed just
There's no gears?
yeah, there's no gears because it's just a battery.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
it's crazy. The speed on it is insane.
Dude, I didn't know. I mean, I feel dumb now. I didn't know they didn't have like a transmission.
Yeah, there's no trans. It's just a big battery pack, dude. It's like a toy car, basically.
Holy shit, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's just a huge battery. So like, whenever you step on the gas, it just full throttle. It's like literally straight. But dude, the crazy thing is the Roadster. Have you seen the Roadster? It's gonna be the fastest. I was thinking about getting it, but I
Oh,
kind of
I
want
think
to
I
try
heard
that.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this goes 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, dude. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna get one, but I kind of want a normal car. Well, not a normal car, but I want a car that actually makes noise. Because the Tesla makes like no noise, but it's like a little stealth car. It hums
Yeah.
sometimes. It was like and it sounds all funny. But I
Dude,
want.
you know what?
What were you saying?
No, go on, my bad.
I know. I was just saying. I just want a car that actually sounds like a car. Like some
Yeah,
of those exhaust.
have you looked at the C7 vets?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've seen it.
They're
The
pretty
shop.
cheap, man.
Yeah, no, they are the shop that's where we're wrapping my car right now. He was wrapping a C7 before mine, and they're pretty nice, dude. They look like yeah, they're pretty nice, dude. The way that they look, and I didn't realize that Corvettes were that cheap. Like I thought they were, because every time I saw them, I would see like old people driving them. So I'm like, oh, is that like if it's like a pretty pricey car? But in reality, it's only like
I think it's because they come out with the new. Um,
every year, right?
it's like every couple of years they come up with that new model, but every time they do, it's like something crazy. Like when they came out with the Stingray ones, this one,
Yeah,
the ones before it, I think they're the C6s or whatever. They were super cheap.
yeah, because this is only
Uh,
40K, dude. Like this is as much as my Lexus before. That's much
yeah.
than my Lexus before.
Now they have that mid-engine vet.
Yeah, what is it, C8, right? Or is it C8?
Yeah,
That's the newest one.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
actually
don't know
like
how I
the C8.
like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the way the C8 looks, but just because it's a Corvette, I just don't like it. Just because,
Doesn't look like a Corvette.
right? Yeah, it looks like I feel like they're trying to copy the new exotics, like the way that they look.
Yeah.
They kind of have like that boxy look to it. Yeah, actually, it wasn't a C7, it was a C8 that I saw that they were wrapping. It looked just like this right here. They're wrapping it in frozen white. This one right here, the same color, I think.
Yeah, the front. I like the rear end. The front end looks weird to me
Yeah,
for
no,
a Corvette.
exactly. It doesn't look like Corvette, right? It kind of looks like an NSX. Have you seen the NSX?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Just like it, yeah. Let's see, NSX. Yeah, it looks just like it, literally. And I feel like
That's a nice car too.
yeah, I feel like the NSX kind of try to rip off the R8. Looks like the R8 too.
Yeah, the Audi. Yeah,
Like now that I've started looking at like exotic cars, I realize like what's really expensive and what really isn't. Like you can get an R8 for pretty cheap too.
really?
Yeah, you can get an R8 for like maybe like 60K, like an older used one.
That's not
Like
bad.
yeah, this and I8. I was thinking about getting an I8 as well, but like I mentioned, I want a car that actually makes noise.
Dude,
So
you know what you should look at the Supra.
oh, the Supra, yeah, no, I've seen the Supra.
Oh, they're so nice.
Dude, the wide body Supra is super nice. There's one at the at the shop that I'm at. So yeah, there's one that's around here. I think it looks like
Oh my god, look at that. I didn't like it at first, but it's growing on me.
yeah, no, me too. When I started seeing them on the street, I was like, they're actually pretty clean, especially if you get the wide body because they're kind of small, like normal like stock. But once you put like a
Yeah,
body on it, like dude, it's so sick when you actually look at it up close. It kind of looks like a mini GTR kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
And then BMW makes real. I think they designed the motor. They make really good motors.
yeah, dude. No, definitely. Yeah, man, that's the next step for me, man, getting a new car. I think like after not having a car for a whole week or two, it's made me like I've literally been looking for cars every day. I was gonna
Really?
yeah, I wanted to buy a 720S, but I know I can't get it right now.
It's a 720. Is that a BMW? BMW?
That's a McLaren, dude.
Oh, my bad.
It's
I'm thinking like a 7 Series, dude. Like, what was that?
oh no, I'm looking for because I was gonna get a 570 first, but I think I'm gonna get a 720 because I just don't like how the 570 looks like. But dude, I've been looking at McLarens like every day.
I like Ferraris, the 458.
Yeah, I was looking at Ferrari too, but I want a car with the doors that go up. Dude, after I got my Tesla, I was like, I kind of like cars with the doors that go up now. I'm kind of biased.
Oh, the Lambo doors.
Dude, I was looking at Huracans too, but I don't like how Huracans the doors don't go up. It's like it doesn't even feel like a Lambo, even though it looks like a cool car. Have you seen the Huracans, the new Evos?
I believe so.
Yeah, the new Evos look nice. I don't like the older Huracans. This would be the Evo.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, I like how the exhaust is in the back now. They changed it where it's like in the middle. The older ones used to be on the bottom, and they look kind of different.
Dude, I would have that thing with straight pipes.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm trying to get, dude. I'm trying to get something loud, like something that freaking roars, like either that or like some sort of AMG. Like I was looking at a C63S.
Look up the underground Lambo.
What was that?
The underground Lambo.
Underground Lambo. Let me check. Underground Lambo.
Well, those things got like 2,000 horsepower.
Dude, 3,500. That's nuts, dude. And they got drag tires on them. That's insane, bro.
Oh my god.
Dude, that's crazy, man. That's insane.
You got to look at a video of how fast they are on the highway. It's ridiculous.
I can only imagine, bro. That's nuts. Yeah, 2,000 horsepower. That's crazy, dude. You guys ever seen a Lambo do a wheelie?
Holy shit.
Bro,
You gotta have money to do that to a Lamborghini. You gotta have
I would-
crazy money.
Yeah, I would never do
Like
that.
it's like 500K for the package without the car.
My god, dude.
Without the car. That's crazy, man. That's freaking insane. Yeah, I don't know. I would never do that to an exotic, but I'd never bring it to a freaking drag course. Even though they're meant for racing, I would not bring it to a drag course.
Yeah. Who are you selling that car to after? You'd have to sell it to another like motorhead.
Exactly. Yeah, no other buyers after that.
Yeah, I wanna get something, but fucking gas is killing me. What is gas out by you?
It's freaking expensive, but that's what I like about the Tesla. I never have to charge
Don't
it.
pay for gas.
Oh yeah, duh. When was the last time you went to a gas station, Shawn?
I don't even know, bro. Well, it's been like maybe 2 years now. It's nice, dude, especially because at my place I have a charger, so I just plug it in, and I don't gotta do anything.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
It went.
what were you say?
I was gonna say the gas went for me. It went up $20 to fill up in a matter of like 2 months.
Yeah, like even if I was gonna get a normal car or like a gas car, then I wouldn't really be driving it that much anyways. So I don't think gas would be an issue. I'd probably just be driving it on the weekends or like maybe just to like certain places because you can't take cars like that everywhere, especially like when there's like speed bumps and dips in certain places. It's like
Yeah. Hey, it's out in California. You can't lower your car, right? Or there's like limitations to that, right?
I don't think there's limitations about lowering it. You just can't have an exhaust that's like too loud. Like, which is kind of dumb. It's funny because like I have at my old house I had a Ring camera, and then do you have a Ring camera or any of those like those security cameras?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
actually just got one. Yeah.
oh, did you? Are you in that community where like people like post up?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
it's alarming.
Yeah, and it's funny because like there's this one of my neighbors at my old house. He had a Lambo, like an Aventador, so it was super loud, and like someone would post the video and he's like, oh, there's a car over here violating like the exhaust law or whatever, and then everyone's
my god.
and then everyone in the community was like, No, that's a Lambo. That's how they're supposed to sound, idiot. And then they're like, oh, well, sorry. I don't know what a Lambo sounds like.
Oh man, I would love to be in your neighborhood chat, dude. Mine is like person shot on Remsen Avenue.
Ah, dude, man, that sucks, bro.
Did anybody hear the gunshots last night?
Oh, we have some of those too, but it's like the neighboring city. Like it's funny because like where I
Yeah,
see,
mine too. But
oh, it's like, oh, it's not where you're actually living, right? It's like,
no, yeah, it's close by though.
yeah, I have my radius up like, dude, like 10, 15 miles away, so I see what's going on around the area. And it's always like, oh, someone steals my package, or someone shits on my lawn, or someone like breaks into my car and do this stuff like that. It's funny, dude. It's like it's entertainment, you know?
Yeah, I had no idea that there were so many shootings because I'm right next to New Brunswick.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where it is, but
Sounds familiar. No, I've heard of it, but I've never been. I know.
It's where Rutgers is.
yeah, Rutgers University.
Oh, okay, I know where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and when I first got the Ring, I didn't know that that it did that. Like, I just thought it was just a doorbell, and it was just like, I'd get notifications late at night, and you'd read it and be like, yeah, someone was crying for help. I heard gunshots and this and that. I'm like, holy crap! It was like 10 years ago. We were out there partying all night in the same location.
Dude, it's crazy, man. It's a fucking crazy world we live in, bro.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but I definitely like the Ring though. I like I would usually just look at those little community posts like before I go to bed. It's like it just cracks me up sometimes when I see some stuff like you'll see people stealing people's shoes from the front door, and they got them on video, or you see them getting pissed off, or people fighting on camera and stuff. It's crazy.
I watched this wild video, which I fucking wish I didn't watch it, but Pennsylvania, dude, there was a dispute over shoveling snow.
Oh, I saw that, dude. That's crazy.
Did you see the video?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Oh my god, dude.
I wonder if did he kill the husband too? I mean, I know he shot him, but like I know the wife, dude. He like literally
dude, he executed them.
Yeah.
And then went and got another gun and
he
hit him again. That was fucking crazy. I can't believe you saw it. That's just fucking.
Yeah, I saw that video, dude. That was like that kind of tripped me out. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Me too.
That he really got that upset about shoveling.
Yeah, and like when you watch it a second time, you actually hear what they say to each other.
I was wondering,
and like they're fucking standing there.
Exactly, they're just standing there. But they like the lady like definitely instigated it, dude.
Yeah, she was like, "Go ahead, use it." I'm like, "Whoa, lady, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
That's
but like it, they were standing there as he's coming down his driveway. They're just standing there.
Like,
like
I'm like,
I mean, maybe they're in shock. I don't know. Then he rings out like 5 shots, misses, and they're still standing there.
Yeah, like she barely moved. I was like, what the heck?
Oh man, that really freaked me out.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you really don't know who you're messing with.
No, you don't know who's on their last, who's fed up with their life and they're fucking ready to do anything.
Exactly, man.
Fucking psychos, man. I can't believe you saw that video. I'm like, I thought I was like one of the only people. Like it was one of those. You remember back in the day, the website that there was like E-Bombs World or some shit.
Oh yeah.
You watch those crazy videos.
Yeah, I go on WorldStar. You ever go on WorldStar?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I saw it because they get all the videos there. So like they get all the interesting stuff, and I just sift through like what's interesting and what's not, because they get a lot of trash on there too. Like sometimes I see videos and I'm like, why is this even on here?
You're not gonna believe where I saw the video.
Where'd you see it?
YouTube.
What the heck? They had it on YouTube?
Yes, YouTube. I could not believe it. It was on YouTube.
It's nuts.
It wasn't hard. It was hard to find, but it was there. The full video.
Dude, I started watching this guy. Well, I didn't start watching, but I saw him on WorldStar as well. Like he's kind of like he does like live streams, but this dude there's something wrong with him, bro. Like he like does crazy shit all the time. Like he lives in Vegas, and he had this video where he just started acting up towards like people on the street, and then they end up stabbing him, dude. Like, and it was all on video, and he was still trying to fight with him. Yeah, and while he was like getting into the ambulance, he was still recording the whole time, bro. They had to tell him to turn the camera off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, dang, this guy. There's like definitely something wrong with this guy.
It's all for that Instagram fame.
Yeah,
That
there was a
fucking
movie about. There was kind of a movie like that. Let me see if I could find it. I watched it on Netflix the other day. Blogging Netflix movie. Uh, live stream. Yeah, I forgot what the
Oh,
movie was called.
you know what I got an email the other day?
What'd you
Fucking
get?
Coinbase sending me an email about taxes.
Oh yeah, do you have money in Coinbase?
I had a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they usually send you. Well, I mean, depending on how much money you made, they send you like a 1099. Did you get one?
No, but you've gotten a physical 1099 from them before?
No, I don't trade with them anymore. Or no, I got it from Coinbase. That's where I got it from. I mean, not Coinbase, Cash App, because I used to use Coinbase before
Oh
too.
fuck, Cash App sends 1099s too.
Yeah, they gave me a. So I gotta remember to print that out when I call my tax guy. Yeah, they sent that out to me. So that's I mean I guess they do because I've never gotten one before because I didn't really trade cryptos that much before that, but
Mm.
I did this year because of those big spikes. I just started buying the dips pretty much whenever they came. Yeah, man, I was just looking at GA right here. I should have taken this trade and profit already.
Yeah, I want to find an app that doesn't do that.
That doesn't send you taxes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just leave it.
you have to use a unregulated one, kind of like Hugo's way. But they'll still trace it, bro. Like you should still do your you should still report the profits because it's gonna catch up to you eventually. If you ever get audited, you're gonna get screwed.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, at this point, I don't think I will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're not making that much, then it doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
once you start doing it, like even with trading, bro, a lot of people always ask trading questions like tax questions about trading, but I'm like, bro, you have to be profitable to like have to pay on your on your trades because a lot of people don't realize that if you just have losses, you don't have to report those losses. I mean, you can use those as like deductions for your taxes, but you don't necessarily have to pay taxes on losses because you have made net positive.
Yeah, I think you could. Yeah, you have to be net positive to be taxed on that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That goes the same with like when you gamble. I think like in
Yeah, yeah,
casinos.
yeah. I think they give you a 1099 as well if you make like over 500 or something or over like a couple thousand.
God, fucking taxes, man. Jesus.
Yeah,
They don't miss a thing, man. They're on top of their game.
yeah, they literally don't miss a thing, bro. Dude, I filed my taxes late last year, or not? I didn't file the taxes, but the franchising fee for the business. And dude, they hit me with like a huge fine. I was like only off by like one day. They sent me. They like were waiting to send me that letter. Like, they literally sent me the letter the day after, and I was like, wow, they couldn't send me like an email to remind me, like, hey, pay for your franchising fee.
Nah, hell no. They're not gonna remind you.
Yeah, they want to charge you those fees.
What are you doing with franchising?
No, in California, it's a requirement. You have to pay a franchising fee to start a business.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but that's just California law. California has a lot of different restrictions here and stuff. It's it's different, and
I
it's
thought
like
you were like trying to like franchise. I don't know how you would do it, but I thought you were trying to franchise. I've been watching the Food That Built America or some shit.
oh yeah, yeah no. I mean, I wouldn't be able to like. I don't think I'd ever be able to franchise K2 or even sell it as a company because like I am K2, you know. So like even if I was to sell K2 to someone, it's like they wouldn't know how to put together other strategies or like to make adjustments to the strategies already unless
True.
they knew how the strategy actually worked. So like people always ask me that. They're like, oh, like what's your exit strategy for K2? Do you plan on selling it? I'm like, even if I sold it, I don't think anyone would be able to continue what I'm doing. Unless like I teach them how to do it right, obviously.
Mm.
That'd be the main difference.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it makes sense for you to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always the people that are it's always the people that are MBAs and stuff, people that have business backgrounds. I feel like
Yeah.
everybody has to have like some sort of some sort of exit strategy for every single company. But it doesn't necessarily translate to like companies like this, where like the person who runs a company is the actual, the nucleus of the company.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got your indicators.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
carry value. You don't even need to do anything. Just offer them. They carry value by themselves.
Yeah. Exactly, dude. 100%. And I don't think I'd ever like, everything that I've gained through K2, I'm definitely would not get rid of it anyways. Just the community that we built, dude, it's crazy what we have here. Like I've been
Yeah,
looking for a community like this for a long time before I started K2. I mean, that's the whole reason I created K2, because I couldn't find something like this.
yeah, it's definitely growing.
Yeah, dude, you've been with us for a while, right? When did you join our K2? Like last
I think
year?
in the summer, yeah. It was like early summer, I think.
Yeah, I remember you were after Kyle. And Kyle was the first one, and then you joined in after, and then Billy
Yeah,
joined in.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's been a
Billy,
good.
dude, is Billy still working right now?
I think so. I think he works nights, right?
What time is it? Oh, dude, it's about to be 7. All right, dude, I just realized I
About
have
to
another
be
session at
10,
7.
man. It's about to be 10. Hey, are you done with sessions now? What's I think Shawn froze. All right.